Your name, your address, and your phone number are floating around the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you've never heard of to find. Data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. You can't stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it. That's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link, and their privacy experts will get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and personal life. Right now, you can lock in 60% off with my exclusive deal at privacykim.com. Go to privacykim.com right now and start protecting your privacy. This is so important. Privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com.
Welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of April 20th, 2024. Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour one.
I always like to kick things off with something fun and interesting, and this is happening over in the Netherlands. The world's first billboard that literally emits the mouth-watering aroma of McDonald's French fries is increasing sales. That's right. And I bet you can know that smell right now. The billboard is about 650 feet away from the restaurant. And I'll tell you, it's just slamming the sales. I mean, why would it not? You know, you're walking by a billboard, you smell McDonald's French fries, and you're like, oh, I need to get those French fries now. Okay, I'm just waiting for the day that McDonald's comes out with a brand new sandwich, and they'll call it the McJagger. Oh, yeah, that was a great one. Hey, listen, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And if you're joining us for the first time, a warm welcome to you and welcome back to our regular listeners. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. You can find us on over 420 top stations across the United States. You can get us as a podcast, as a webcast, as a perk of being a member of the Komando community. And just a reminder, you can also get the show commercial free on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 service members in 175 different countries and 200 ships at sea. All right, just for you, dear listener, I check out at least 35 different websites every single day to make sure that we are both up to date on what's happening in the tech universe. And here are the top 5 most important things you need to know right now. Now, let's talk about if you're online and you're chatting with someone. Okay, how do you really know who they are? Oh, well, you have a video call. Well, not anymore. Let me tell you, scammers have started using face swapping technology to create realistic AI-generated deep fakes, which can talk and move in real time. Yes. This means that deep fakes can be used in live video calls, something that the bad actors have been able to avoid up until now. A group of scammers in Nigeria known as the Yahoo Boys have been experimenting with this deep fake video technology for about 2 years. Well, at first it wasn't so great. You could tell something was off in the video, like maybe the voice was off, it was distorted, whatever it may be. But the tech is here right now, and they're using it for live video chats, deep faking themselves of very attractive model-like men. So if you're on a call with one of them, they're going to dole out all the compliments. Hey, baby, oh, I can't wait to see you. I want to marry you. You are so beautiful. And then they're going to start asking for money. If you are vulnerable, you could be pulled in. I read this story over at Wired, and if you have a chance to watch the video, it's very, very frightening. Number 2 on our list, let's talk about AI girlfriends. Yes, real humans are falling hard for artificial intelligence boyfriends and girlfriends. Tech exec Greg Eisenberg of Late Checkout went viral this past week, claiming that AI girlfriends will soon be a billion-dollar business, like a Match.com for AI girlfriends and boyfriends. He shared the story that he knows a 24-year-old guy. Listen to this. 24-year-old guy spends $10,000 a month on virtual girlfriends. Oh my gosh. Reminds me of the time you may remember here on the big show, we talked to Rosanna Ramos, who was married to her AI boyfriend. Okay, remember, this is just like a AI boyfriend in your phone. She married him. Not legally, of course. And she says it's the best relationships that she's ever had. No judgment zone. Oh, I don't know what to think about this. I mean, this is the way that our world is moving. And think about all the data that's being collected. It's all going to be sold too. We all know that. All right, moving on to number 3. Here's the problem with always paying for the ransom. We're going to talk about the Change Healthcare hack. You know about Change Healthcare, United Healthcare. But here's the thing. Change Healthcare is really this conglomerate of all these different companies that would process insurance forms and claims. Now, think about everything that's on your insurance form and your claim. Yes, it was hacked in February. They say it was 100% preventable. They didn't do basic updates to their software. So they just reported it cost them almost $1 billion in losses. So let's go back to your health privacy here. Now there's another Russian gang, ransomware gang, who's saying like, guess what? We have access to the data too. And if you don't pay us, then we're going to release all this data out in the public. So the bottom line here is this. You need to make sure that you keep track of your medical ID. Medical ID theft is rampant. You might be saying like, well, what does that matter? How is that different from identity theft? Well, medical ID theft is different because here's what happens. Let's say, God forbid, you need a kidney transplant. You go to the doctor and say, oh, we have to have this approved by your insurance. So then you contact your insurance company and they call you back and they say, sorry, we can't approve it because you've already had 2 transplants. You're like, I didn't have 2 transplants. Yeah, that's what happens. All your medical info gets sold on the dark web. They can pretend to be you at a doctor's office, hospital, you name it. Moving on to number 4 on our list of 5 things. Dermatologists are saying girls are getting rashes. What's going on? I read about this in Fortune. Dr. Elizabeth Hushman, a dermatologist in Dallas, treated a 9-year-old girl who developed a rash. It was kind of like a weird rash. Like, what's going on with this little girl? Glycolic acid cleanser she was using. Okay, these products are for adults, anti-aging treatments, adult acne, certainly not for 9-year-old skin. So what's happening is that the kids are going on TikTok and they're seeing other kids, adults talking about, oh, look how beautiful my skin is. Okay, they're pushing retinoids, exfoliating agents like AHAs, BHAs. And then these young girls are watching the videos on TikTok. Okay, so here's the deal. Talk to your young kids saying just because you see it advertised, talked about on social media, doesn't mean that it's good for you. Finally, this coming in from number 5. I normally like to have the 5th story be something happy, funny, inspirational. That's not the case today. It's a horrible, horrible story from Ohio. An Uber driver was shot and killed by an 81-year-old man. He believed she was there in an effort to scam him. The guy's name is William Brock. He was on the phone with a scammer who was trying to extort him for money. That's when Lolitha Hall pulled up to his home in her Uber. Now, Brock thought Hall was part of this whole scam, but she wasn't. In actuality, she got a request via her Uber app to pick up a package from Hall's home. So she was getting scammed herself. That's when Brock turns his gun on her. She starts pleading for her life. The video is so incredibly hard to watch. Stop, stop, stop. Then he shoots. He follows her around the car and she says, listen, I'm just here to pick up a package. He says, I know what you're after. He wants to know the identities of the scammers. And he shoots again. Killed her. Okay. And when the cops showed up, you know what the guy said to the cops? I'm so glad that you're here. I was getting scammed. Hard story for me to talk about, but something that I needed to share with all of you because, I don't want this to happen to you or someone you love on both ends. All right, coming up. Oh my gosh, I have so many great things I want to share with you. I have a free photo search tool that you just have to use to believe to find pictures of yourself online. We're going to talk about how safe is your aircraft's Wi-Fi when you're traveling out and about, what your hotel key holds about you. Also, a new iPhone setting that you're going to want to set on your phone just in case your phone ever gets lost or stolen. Then we have your phone calls and you have me, Kim Komando. Okay, I want you to remember this web address. Okay, winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com. Say it with me. winfromkim.com, because you are going to win from Kim. And so in order to do that, you have to go to winfromkim.com. Now, why are you going there? Because I am giving away, I know it's so incredible. I want to give you a brand new iPhone 15. Yes, a brand new iPhone 15. But you have to enter to win. You have to go to winfromkim.com. Now, when you do, there's a bit of a catch, is that if you don't already get my free newsletter, you have to get one issue. That's all, just one issue. You can unsubscribe after that if you don't like it, which I know you're going to love it. I know you're going to love it because it's just so fun to read. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. All right, let's get started with Nancy in Chicago, Illinois.
Well, I get your daily newsletter. I love it. And in my advancing years, I think you keep me ahead of some of the ones that think they're so smart with tech that are 20, 30, 40 years younger. So I appreciate you very much. I have a good question for you. I am in the process of trying to prepare my family for the end of my life stage. And I have some documents that I wanted to upload somewhere in cyberspace, like my trust, maybe a list of where the passwords are found so that they can maybe discontinue things should it happen planned or a sudden thing. Mm-hmm. And I need to know how all the kids would need to have access remotely. Two of them are especially far away, and then there's one closer. But however, to get to our stuff, I'm uploading documents. I don't keep papers here at the house, really. I want to know how or what can I set up that they can get to that I'm not worried that they're going to lose the password to, mm-hmm. or they'll always have, and I can keep it live
sure.
and update it. I don't know how to trust that they'll always have this information. What do people use for that? And do you have something?
Well, here's the deal. Is number one, I don't know your kids, but normally if there are multiple children in the family, is that you're going to pick one person to be the person in charge of the trust, right? And the estate, okay?
Yeah.
And so that one person is really the only person that needs to have access to all of your documents because it's their job to do what you wanted them to do, right? Sometimes when you have multiple people that have access to everything, that it can cause confusion. And so I just want to lay it out there. When my mother passed away, is that there were 4 kids in the family. I was in charge. I'm still in charge because I'm still finishing up some things. And so I got the estate document and went through all of her wishes step by step. And then I gave my siblings a copy of the areas that were pertinent to them. So it's just something for you to think about because, when somebody passes away, emotions are very high, right? And so we want to make sure that everybody's on an even keel. So that's the first thing. Now, you say you want to put everything in the cloud so that this way they have access to it. We just want to make sure that you're using a service like Dropbox or OneDrive so you can put all of your files in the cloud, okay? Mm-hmm. And then you can use Keeper Security, a password program that is a sponsor, and I recommend them, where you can set up emergency access for up to 5 contacts. And then the emergency access is granted up to 3 months per contact, okay? So in your estate documents or someplace else is that you could give a password. In your Keeper password, you could have access, provide access to the documents in the cloud. Now, you said that you didn't want to deal with paper, okay? Sometimes things like these, especially if it's a complicated will, complicated estate, it might be better served on paper because you have the ability to actually have a book and it's organized. And then it becomes, where do you get the passwords that you need? I found it incredibly helpful that my mother had a password book, okay? An actual book. And that under A, it said AT&T, America Online, Medicare, life insurance, whatever it was. And so I had full access to her accounts. That being
we use Keeper now. It's not the secure one, where I pay annually.
Okay.
We use that now. And the reason I was, just to clarify, in case of house fire or something, I don't have a safe here.
Oh, I see.
So,
okay, all right. Because I understand. Because she kept that book in my safe, so it made.
Yeah.
And she also lived with me, so it was a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the case for my mother, too. And when she did with her trust, I was the executor.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm trying to do the same favor to my kids, only remotely, because they may not be here in a timely way anyway. So that's kind of where I'm going.
So what you're going to do is you're going to put everything in a Dropbox or OneDrive. Probably Dropbox would be the easiest one. And then I'm going to give you a link to set up Keeper Security with emergency access. Just one tip that I'm going to give you and pass along, Nancy, is that, and maybe you saw this with your mom as well, is that try to keep, they need to keep your phone number active as long as possible, as long as they need to, because so many of these accounts that they're going to be wanting to access and take a look at, they're going to be sending a 2-factor authentication code, because it's going to be access that nobody has ever gotten to this Dropbox before, right? And so you're going to want to make sure that they have everything that's, they have all the tools that they need in order to, fulfill your wishes and what you want. And I know we're not talking about a happy subject here. I get all that. But, it's going to happen to us all. Guaranteed. Nancy, thanks for your call today. If you need any help afterwards, just remember, I'm always here for you. All right, on your iPhone, what I want you to do is make sure that you turn on stolen device protection. Here's how it works. If your phone is stolen and it's not in a location where you are normally at home or at work, the passcode alone will not unlock it. So to turn this on, go to Face ID and passcode inside your settings, enter your passcode, and then find Stolen Device Protection. Once again, that's Stolen Device Protection. If you need all those steps, just search for it over at commando.com. All right, still to come, a free photo search tool you're going to love to see here on The Kim Komando Show. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim. All right, coming up, how safe is the Wi-Fi on an airplane? I've got that answer coming up, as well as there's a tool on the web. You can upload a picture of yourself, and then it will tell you everywhere else that picture appears online. Oh, yeah, pretty frightening. And before we get back to all of your phone calls, let's talk about your hotel key. What exactly does the information hold on that key? What is on there? Well, it carries a tiny, unique identifier, and this connects to a database in the hotel system. So whenever you swipe or tap that card, the system takes a quick look at that unique identifier and checks to see if it matches the database. Does this in a split second, because if everything's good, the door just will open for you. But does it remember anything about you? No, it's just a middleman. It contains that identifier, and that's it. But if you're worried about it before you leave, you could take the key with you, or you can just go ahead and just, cut it in half, split it in half, or just use the hotel key on your phone. You can void it altogether. All right, let's talk about AI-generated images. We talked about it here at the top of the show, and deep fakes. And AI is frequently used to exploit real individuals' identities, because here's what it can do. It could take somebody's face and then just put it on somebody else's body. So whatever that face was doing at that time had nothing to do with that body's doing, but they can just make it all just like look seamless, just right together. And I'll tell you, it doesn't take long. You don't need Photoshop skills. A recent analysis says that 98% of deepfake videos are pornographic. Women and girls are the victims 99% of the cases. And that's what happened to activist and survivor Breeze Lou. Now, let me tell you, Breeze is a smart, Berkeley-educated woman who was secretly recorded while she was undressing. I had a chance to speak to her for my podcast, Kim Commando Today. Here, take a listen. So tell us exactly what happened.
It all started back in 2020. It was a beautiful spring afternoon. I was just really sitting at home, and then I got a Facebook message from a friend, and then he said, "You need to drop everything that you're doing and get on a phone call with me right now." I called him, and then he told me, "I don't want you to panic, but there is a video of you circulating on Pornhub." So and when I first found out about it, it was really devastating. And I tried to commit suicide. And yeah, so that's how everything started.
And then did you know who put it on Pornhub?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you go to the police?
Yeah. So I did go to the police, and it wasn't very helpful. To give you a bit of information about my background, I majored in peace and conflict studies at UC Berkeley, very well educated. And before I started my own company, I was a very successful venture capitalist in the technology industry. And when I brought this to the police, I was very calm and very, I was just laying out the facts. But instead of trying to track down the perpetrator of this crime, which I have very strong evidence for, the police, they asked me, "Have you ever engaged in prostitution? Do you ever exchange money for nude videos of yourself?"
Wow.
Which is,
insulting, to say the least.
Yeah, it was dehumanizing.
What did it take to get the video down from Pornhub?
So when I confronted the perpetrator, he immediately removed it himself, the original video, which, become a direct piece of evidence pointed to who did it. Because at the time I was confronting him, like that, video on Pornhub, it shows it's removed by the uploader. It doesn't just stop there. It procreated itself kind of on Pornhub and other malicious websites. And it was very difficult to remove all of them because it just keeps showing up at different places. And my action to confront the perpetrator pissed him off. And he decided to threaten me, and he did threaten me with gangsters, and he also decided to create more deepfake porns of me and spread it all over the internet, and it ended up on at least over 800 links all over the internet.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's like a wildfire.
So over what period of time did this happen? Because you mentioned 2020. Was this all just like a snowball in 3 months or 6 months, or did it go on after that?
Yeah, it went on and on and on. It just it doesn't stop. So, obviously the police, because when I called the police and the perpetrator noticed the law enforcement didn't care about this issue, he realized he could just do whatever he wants. So that's why it didn't just stop with that one video. It turned out to be deep fake porns and everything. So so this is exposed a very huge issue in our society. When we fail to hold the perpetrators accountable, they realize there's nothing to deter them, and they will keep making even fake videos of you because my action to seek justice provoked him. So I wanted to point out that the injustice I have suffered wasn't just the crime itself. It was also the slut shaming in the process to seek justice. It was also, I was trying to build solutions. you keep facing walls, and people just don't take it seriously. And then the more you try to do the right thing, I thought I did everything that a normal person could do in her power, the more, they try to put you down. And
so you decided to, I guess, build your own tool, because there is no real tool to go through. Well, let me ask you a question. Is there a tool that you could say, here's my face, and show me every instance of where I am deep faked on these sites?
Currently, there is no tools like that. That's what we're trying to build. So because the internet is a very, very big place. So you can't just say you can find everything. So it is a very challenging task. And more importantly is after you find out about it, how do you remove it? That is why with my company we're trying to establish direct partnership with the big players. so that when we discover that, we can take action. Because what happened to me was like, although, I mean, eventually I was able to like, find a lot of these like videos or like, deepfake porns of myself out there, I couldn't remove it. So, I mean, I had to like, pretty much like beg all around the world for people to help me because I'm personally not mentally stable enough to deal with all of that content. So, yeah, I mean, I wanted to build the tool that survivors, that I did not have access to in my darkest hour. So that's why I decided to create Electo AI.
Boy, I mean, it would have to just be devastating. I mean, to have this happen. And did you not have any recourse against the person who uploaded it? Nothing at all?
No.
So now you said you found over 800 different instances of the deepfake porn. And I read in one article that you had pinpointed about 145 of them to one company that held them on their servers. Were you successful at all in getting any of them removed off the internet?
So with the help of a organization, we were successful in terms of removing hundreds of those links, but those 142 links were actually hosted on Microsoft Azure. And so when the organization, which is it's a French organization funded by the French government and the EU, and when they tried to reach out to Microsoft on my behalf, Microsoft refused to remove those things. So it was Microsoft, wow, if you could believe that.
Wow.
Yeah. So when the big tech companies are telling you that they don't have the tools, they don't have the technology, or to remove it, that is absolutely a lie. I worked in tech all my life, and I can tell you, when I'm telling them this is me, remove it. They refuse to remove it. Microsoft. Yeah.
You really need to hear the entire interview. I mean, it's very telling. What she's trying to do, what she's trying to accomplish, what happened to her. Let me tell you, this can happen to anybody, really. I mean, she was just undressing and some wacko took a whole video of her and then she ended up deep faked on all the porno sites. You want to hear the whole thing, trust me. You can find Kim Komando today on Apple, Amazon, YouTube Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It's just perfect. It's just perfect for when you're out driving, walking, gardening, just hanging out at the house. Again, that's Kim Komando today, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, if your next vacation includes flying, of course, you're going to hop on the airplane's Wi-Fi, assuming it works. Oh my gosh, it's so frustrating when it doesn't, right? But is the Wi-Fi safe enough for you to conduct important business, personal business? Well, airborne Wi-Fi is as unsafe as public Wi-Fi. I want you to remember that. So if you just want to send or receive email, browse the web, use social media, you can do that, but avoid all financial transactions. So you're saying well, I'll just fire up ExpressVPN on the plane. Well, it's not the VPN's fault, but as the airplane's going out and about, sometimes the VPN can just drop off in flight. So you just want to keep that in mind. Make sure you're always updated with the latest antivirus software because hackers can scan your computer, steal your passwords. So the safest in-flight activity is old school. Have a drink and read a magazine. All right, still to come, a free photo search tool that you're just going to have to check out here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, Tim in Austin, Texas. Glad to have you with us.
Listen, love your show, longtime listener, first-time caller. I've got an upcoming wedding. My son is getting married in Ireland.
Oh, how fun.
In a couple of weeks.
That's great.
Yes, we're very excited. And my wife's been doing all the heavy lifting as far as the planning and the train tickets and the ferry tickets and all the different things that we're going to see. We've got several family members that are coming with us, including my son and soon-to-be daughter-in-law. And when we looked at cell phone coverage or mobile phone coverage through our carrier, it just seemed outrageously expensive. Kind of like when you rent a car and they've got that thing in the car that if you go through one toll, then they charge you a certain amount every day plus the tolls and all that other mess.
Yeah, exactly. So who's your carrier?
It's AT&T.
Okay. And so they have an international plan, it's $10 a day. And so for 2 weeks, you're looking at, $140.
Well, per line.
Yes, right. That's correct.
Right. So we're looking for an alternative, and if there is a better alternative, and we've looked at a couple of things and seen different posts.
Oh, for sure.
Using
you can use
a physical SIM card or an eSIM card,
yes, exactly.
or a temp phone.
Yeah, and so it depends upon what phone that you have, and you have to make sure that it's not locked down to the carrier first. And AT&T, if you give them a call, and because it's under them, they can tell you whether it's locked down or not, as well as, you can look it up yourself by just looking at the serial number. But eSIM cards are eSIM meaning like electronic SIM, okay, versus a physical SIM card. Most modern phones right now, they will give you an eSIM card. It depends, like you said, it's $140 per line. Now, what's the price difference? Normally, you're going to get an eSIM card. It'll give you like 30 gigs of data and voice for 14 days. It's going to run you about $50. So you're looking at $50 per line. Alternative, what some people do when they travel is that they keep the phone on airplane mode the whole time and only use Wi-Fi. So if that's something that it may be palatable to you or maybe to somebody in your family, it's like, okay, maybe we don't spend the $50. There's also different plans that you can probably reduce that down to $30 for the 14 days if you're only looking at maybe, say, half of the gigs, maybe 12 gigs in voice for 14 days. So does that sound better?
Yeah, that definitely sounds better. We just want to have the connectivity because
sure.
There's so many people that are going and, it's like, hey, where are you? I'm not sure. I think I missed my train, that kind of matter.
Oh, for sure. And it's, and I'll tell you, it's really handy to be able to not worry about, all the data and the charges and things. Just a quick tip for you, a couple of tips. This is number one. Make sure that you turn off all the background refreshing that may be happening on your apps. I'm talking about if you have Facebook or, Instagram, weather, traffic, Google Voice, Google Drive, anything that you have running on your phone. Because the background refresh, what that's doing is that it's just keeping everything all current for you. But you may not need to keep everything all current, maybe except for just, say, Google Maps, right? Or maybe the train app, whatever it may be. And so this way, you're not going to be going over on your data limit that you have on an eSIM card. The other thing, too, is keep a close watch on your phone. I'm not really worried about it in Ireland, but a friend of mine was in Rome recently. And she was with her teenage daughter, and they were taking pictures of each other right there by the Colosseum. And so a stranger walked by and said, hey, you want me to take the photo of the two of you? And of course she said, oh yeah, I'd love to have a picture of, me and my daughter in front of the Coliseum. Anyway, she handed the phone and the kid ran away. Okay.
Wow.
So it's like, because, if you think about it, you're just handed somebody $1,000, right? $1,500. So, and so it's not just this only, not like this only happens in Rome. We had a caller recently whose his wife was in Chile, and she was just standing on the street, holding her phone, trying to look at Google Maps, and then a kid on a bicycle just came by and swiped it right out of her hand. Wow. Yeah, I'll tell you. Hang on the line, and we'll go ahead and give you some links where you can take a look at some eSIM cards, Tim. And congratulations on the wedding and safe travels. Oh, Ireland. I love Ireland. Kissed the Blarney Stone myself. And when I was just a kid, the first time I did it, my dad leaned over and he looked at me and he's like, she's the last person that needed to kiss the Blarney Stone. I guess he's probably right. What if I told you could find photos of you or anyone you know in just a split second at pimeyes.com? Once again, that's pimeyes.com. You just take a photo using your webcam or your camera, whatever you'd be, your phone, and then you upload a photo of yourself or anyone else. And then PimEyes will go out on the web to find those pictures or any that are like it or similar. And some photos you may even be wearing glasses, and PimEyes will go ahead and find it anyway. So that's pimeyes.com, PIMEYES.com. Now, there is a pay version. You don't need to pay. Just try the free version because that's enough for you to be like, whoa, what's going on with this? And don't forget to enter to win the brand new iPhone. That address is winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 2.
Here she comes, Miss AI America. I know, that was really bad. I promise I should never, ever sing on this show. Oh my gosh, there go the ratings. The reason why I bring it up is the world's first AI beauty pageant is here. Yeah, can't make this up. Pageant's run by FanView. They're going to crown the first ever Miss AI next month. The winner of the most beautiful fake woman is going to make, you ready for it, $20,000. Judges say they're going to score the contestants on beauty, social media clout, and their creators' use of AI tools. And the AI women will have to answer classic questions like, would your dream be to make the world a better place? I'm sure most of the AIs are going to answer, not really. I'm really here to abolish mankind. Yes, that's why I'm here. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm, of course, Kim Commando, America's digital goddess, here with you once again. It's the biggest show, the best show, the most trusted show about all things digital. You can find me on over 420 fantastic radio stations across the United States. You can check us out as a podcast, as a webcast, as perk of your Commando community membership. And you can also find us commercial free on Apple Podcasts and Spotify too. And a special shout out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries. All right, I need two things from each and every one of you. Number one, just tell one person. That's all. Tell one person about the Kim Commando Show. And number two, if you ever have a question for me, head over to the website. That's commando.com. And in the top right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. Exclusively for you, dear listener, I check out at least 35, sometimes 40 different websites to make sure that we are both informed. And here are the top 5 tech changes you need to know about right now. And if you're heading on vacation, here's a reminder when you're going overseas. Turn off the roaming. That's right. Seriously, double check this. Listen to the story about Renee and his wife, Linda. They were from Florida and they visited Switzerland. Beautiful country, by the way. And Renee said he confirmed international coverage with his mobile provider before leaving. He said, I thought I was all set. I was covered. But Renee did not disable his roaming. He started sending texts and photos back home, unaware that all these roaming costs were just piling up. He had a great time. When he got home, he got his bill from T-Mobile and he looked down and he's like, oh, $143. That's not bad. That was pretty good. All that time in Switzerland, all those great memories, yodel-hee-ho. Then he saw the actual amount, over $143,000. Wow. Renee had used 9.5 gigs of data, incurring thousands of dollars in charges every single day. When Renee contacted T-Mobile, they said, oh yeah, the charges are valid. But fortunately, T-Mobile eventually waived the $143,000 bill. So here's the deal. Always remember to check your phone settings before you travel. That T-Mobile international plan is $50 for a month. And, you know, most carriers, they always have some type of deal for you when you're overseas. But always remember, turn off the data roaming. Moving on to number 2, some example of what some companies shouldn't do. Now, Elon Musk says that X has a bot problem. And the only way for him to solve it is to charge all new accounts money, maybe $1 to post. And he says, I'm going to do that for like the first 3 months. So now they're testing these $1 per post fees in New Zealand and the Philippines. Now, again, only new users have to pay the $1 to post. Now, think about all this. He's got this problem with X. Okay. He spent, I don't know, $44 billion on it. I mean, that's a lot of money. He overpaid for it. I've read a report recently that said it was worth about $19 billion. Oh, that's not good. He also asked shareholders to reinstate his $56 billion compensation package at Tesla. Wow. $56 billion. I'll take the job. $1 billion. Just pay me $1 billion. I could do that. And then also this past week, Tesla had to halt the Cybertruck deliveries after broken pedals, accelerators that would just not stop. Then he has all the lawsuits for the self-driving cars for Tesla. He laid off 14,000 people. Okay. He's not having a good day. Moving on to number 3. Remember when the 3.5 floppy disk was state of the art? Not anymore. Western Digital is going to release a 4 terabyte SD card next year. That small card, the size of a postage stamp, can hold 41 million Word docs, 820,000 photos, or 5,800 movies. Wow. Isn't that something? Now let's head to Los Angeles for story number 4. That's where Jeff Brobman lives. And one day his phone just blew up with all these alerts from Bank of America someone was trying to crack into his account. He said, "Oh, I'm in big trouble." He whipped out his phone to call the bank, and guess what? He had no bars. What's going on? He managed to connect to Bank of America, and that's when he found out that $21,000 was immediately withdrawn from his account. He's like, "Wasn't me. What's going on here?" A SIM swapping scam. Say that 3 or 4 times. A SIM swapping scam. Basically, somebody will call up a provider, sweet talk them, saying, I need a new phone number. I need to put this SIM on my new phone, and goes on and on. So the bottom line here is you need to make sure that you set up a PIN with your wireless carrier, and also opt for facial recognition for banking transactions, so that this way those 2FA codes don't go to your phone because you're using your face. And finally, this coming in at number 5. Wow. 65% of Americans argue over loading the dishwasher. They say there's a right way and a wrong way. And this has led to a growing world of dishwasher technique lovers. Thousands are in a Facebook group called Extreme Dishwasher Loading. Okay. We're fighting about the dishwasher now online. Oh my gosh. All that matters to me is that the dishes just come out clean, really. All right, coming up, we have some great tips about phones that have an expiration date. What? And we have your phone calls, and you have me, Kim Komando. Hey, I'm giving away a brand new iPhone 15 right now, but you have to go to this address, winfromkim.com. Once again, winfromkim.com. Do it now. Even if you get my free newsletter, and because this will sign you up for one issue of the newsletter, you can unsubscribe at any time, you are still eligible to win. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. All right, how about we start with Patrick in Los Angeles. Hi there, Patrick.
My question had to do with security in a home security system. I know jammers can take down or defeat a wireless home security system. But my question is, are hardwired home security systems vulnerable to jammers or other technology? Well,
Here's the deal, is that there are now the gangs that have come across the United States from South America. And
Yes.
their MO is pretty much the same no matter what city we're talking about, whether it's Atlanta, Los Angeles, Scottsdale, Seattle, Chicago, wherever, is that they show up and there's normally like 3 to 4 guys. And then typically there's a woman who's driving the getaway car. And the woman driving the getaway car probably has surveyed the neighborhood before, and typically she's going to be driving in a rented minivan, okay? Because this way they can put all the guys in the back. So they scope out the neighborhoods. Once they scope out the neighborhoods, they're really looking for higher end neighborhoods, then they target a property and they show up with cell phone jammers and also wireless jammers. So that if your home security system operates strictly just on wireless, or you got a Ring doorbell, whatever it may be, is that they're going to jam that so that it looks to you as if the internet is down. So you're going to get a message that says, oh, the Ring camera's down. Then you're going to be like, oh, the internet must be down because it happens every once in a while, right? It's just the way we are. Yeah. Okay, so then they break into your house, and they don't carry any guns, by the way. Because they don't carry guns is that when they go to jail, they get out pretty quickly. Okay, because they're not carrying a firearm. But what they are carrying in their backpack, because there was a backpack left in our yard, is a crowbar. It was in there, and as well as some screwdrivers, a Capri Sun, and some trail mix, I guess in case they got hungry along the way and thirsty. And so our home that we built everything's all hardwired. We don't have wireless. I mean, we have wireless in the house, but as far as security systems, it's all hardwired. And so when they approached our house, along with the Phoenix SWAT team, who got word that they were going to be targeting my house, which I asked the detective afterwards, like, why did you let this happen? I mean, maybe you could have just like given us an idea that this, knocked on the door, okay, or something. Like a little heads up, instead of me and my husband like walking out on the patio saying, hey guys, what's going on? As 40 Phoenix SWAT police officers were jumping the fence and getting into the yard. Okay.
Holy cow.
And so if you want to see the video, it's over at youtube.com/Kim Komando, where I was talking about this. And just, it says, I think the title is like a SWAT team approached my house or jumped my fence in Phoenix. And so because they weren't able to knock anything down, is that they weren't able, they moved on to the house next door, okay, who was all just wireless. Now, so your question is, what could take down a wired system? Okay, well, think about this.
Correct.
Power, right? They cut the power. They cut the power, all bets are off. Okay, nothing's going to work. An EMP could bring it down. So of course we're all going to have really good home security systems. I mean, I don't know how people sleep in their homes without a security system on. I mean, it's not just this chilling gang. It's, you want to be able to secure your premises, and if you live alone, you don't have to live in fear, but it's something to consider. Now, back to my house, what happened is that in the cul-de-sac, they weren't that bright. They picked a street with a cul-de-sac, and they also picked a street that has one way in and one way out. Okay, whatever. Okay, so gal's driving the getaway van. She goes plowing down the street out of the cul-de-sac. She picks up her buddies along the way. Well, there's only one way in, one way out. And so she crashes into a police car, unmarked police car. Probably about 10 days after this, again, in the cul-de-sac, I spotted a truck with a couple of people in the truck. And so I said to Barry, my husband, I'm like, I don't know if they're back. I don't know what's going on. And so Barry goes out, says, can I help you? What are you guys doing? And they're like, oh, we're the detectives. We're just trying to see because we got word they might be back. I'm like, again, you could have given us a heads up that something was going on. What a time we live in. Hey, listen, in case you want to see that video and you're listening to the show, watching the show, head over to youtube.com/Kim Komando. That's our YouTube channel, which, by the way, we are doing so many new videos. We have so many fun things that are going on because we have hired this amazing woman by the name of Mads, who's putting together all the shorts and the videos and making sure that we all look great when we're doing it. So again, that's youtube.com/Kim Komando. All right, let's go to the other side of the United States in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Hi there, Cheryl.
It's a great day here, and I want to say that your newsletter is terrific. I keep getting nice little tips on the newsletter to work in all my little devices here.
That's awesome. Every single day I put that together, and it is, it's, as you can see, it's a lot of work, right? I mean, but,
yes.
But, to keep it light, I throw in those corny jokes. I know some of them are so bad, but it's just.
I used to work with a math teacher who was the pun king of the world. Well, every day we got them.
Well, that's awesome. And so, listen, if anybody's not on the newsletter yet, what are they waiting for, right, Cheryl? They should just sign up. Come on. Sign up over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. So, Cheryl, what's on your mind today?
Well, what it is that years ago, Microsoft had a program that was called Microsoft Works, and in it they included Microsoft Money. Mm-hmm. And it was on a disk, and I loaded it into my computer a long years ago. And then a few years ago, they stopped it. They just no longer have Microsoft Money. However, I have been able to go from one computer to the next, et cetera, by transferring it over. However, I'm getting a little nervous because I think eventually it's going to drop out, and I only need it for my own personal use,
Well, the other thing that you run a risk at is that they're not updating this program, right?
Right.
And so you're sitting there in like 1980, all happy, okay? But there's been a lot of hackers and ransomware and scammers, and it's just not a good idea to use outdated software. So let me tell you about some alternatives. One is called GNU. One's called GNU Cache. That's GNU Cache, GNU Cache, and it's open source. What that means is that it's free for you to use. It does basic accounting. It can't even do small business accounting if that's what you wanted, but you can just go ahead and keep it just with your savings and your checking and your retirement and whatever else that you might have in there. It'll handle your stocks and do all the income expenses. Everything that you might expect. Again, that's called GNU Cache. That's GNU CASH, like cash. Now, if you are more familiar with Quicken, or if you're looking for something like that, Quicken does have a version called Quicken Classic. Yes, you're now a classic, Cheryl. Did you know that?
Yes, at my age, I am.
Okay, you're a classic. You can get Quicken Classic for Windows or Mac. It's about $36 a year. So either GNU Cash or you're going to use Quicken Classic, and then you'll be good to go. And promise me, you're going to make sure that that you keep everything updated from now on, because I don't want anything bad happening to you, Cheryl, there in Cape Cod. Hey, listen, if you want a great side hustle, you don't want to miss what's coming up next here on The Kim Komando Show. All right, coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about a great side hustle. How'd you like to go out to eat for free? Oh, yeah. You're like, I'm raising my hand for that, Kim Komando. Later on this hour, your phone has an expiration date. And before we get to all of that, let's talk about Amazon smart speakers. One use that you may not have thought of before is that you could set it up as an old school intercom system. Now, to build your own intercom system, you need a few Amazon Echoes. You can use the cheapo Echo Dot because it has a built-in clock, but they all have to be linked to the same Amazon or Amazon household account and on the same Wi-Fi network. So once you have all the devices, you go into your Alexa app, tap devices. That's where you'll see all your speakers, and that's where you can rename them like kitchen or living room. And then you can just have a direct conversation by saying, Alexa, drop in on the kitchen or drop in on the living room. And then you can make a broadcast announcement everywhere throughout the house. You could say, kids, we're leaving now. We're leaving now. And then, of course, you're going to hear somebody scream down the hall, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And then you can say, nope, we're leaving now. So sweet. All right. I always get calls and notes from folks who want to make extra money with some kind of side hustle. So when I read this story at CNBC, oh my gosh, I wanted to know more, and I knew that you would too. A guy by the name of Cliff Smith says that he has saved $40,000. Yes, I said $40,000 on his groceries because he eats out all the time. Yeah, he eats out for free because he's a secret restaurant reviewer, and you can do this too. I had a chance to talk to Cliff Smith and get all the details for my podcast, Kim Komando Today. And here, just take a listen to just a part of it. First of all, $40,000, that's huge.
And that actually understates it because I didn't keep track for the first 5 years. It's probably more like 50,000 or even more than that.
So this is a great side hustle. Walk us through how it works.
Okay, so I Spy contracts with the restaurant management, and they get evaluators or secret shoppers to go to the restaurant and give them feedback about everything they want to know about. Different restaurants have different push points. Some care a lot about the wine handling, about do they observe proper protocol? Do they refill your glass frequently enough? That kind of stuff. A lot of places care a lot about how well you're greeted, how well they do on the reservation process, things like that. So anyway, the I Spy CC is the full name of the company. They contract with the restaurant management, and then once they've got a contract, they tell us evaluators, secret shoppers, okay, we want you to go to this restaurant on this day, and we negotiate about the day, and then we go. We usually get either a gift card or are reimbursed after the fact. We do get a budget, and we do run over budget sometimes because we like the nice wine. But we get to go to places we wouldn't go to otherwise, or we spend a lot less money than we would have otherwise.
Now, because you know that you're going to write an evaluation, do you find yourself being more critical than usual?
More observant, I would say. What we're trying to do is, in my mind, is be fair witnesses. We're trying to tell what we observed and not make assumptions about other things. A fair witness comes from stranger in a strange land, and if you ask a fair witness what color is that house, a fair witness would say, this side is beige. So the idea is, this is what I know, this is what I don't know. And so we're not being critical. We're trying to give constructive criticism is really the goal of the company. And so that's what we're trying to do, is not rip people apart by any means.
What kind of time are we looking at? When obviously you're going to go out, you're going to go to the restaurant, you're going to have the meal, but when it comes to submitting your report, how long does it take you?
Well, first we have to submit the evaluation survey. It's done online. We have to do that the next day.
Okay.
When I started, which was 20 years ago, it was 2 days, but now it's down to one, which is, it's reasonable. Now, it depends on the kind of restaurant that we're going to. Like, we do takeout sometimes. That became a kind of a thing during COVID. And for that, it might take 2 hours of work. By contrast, we did a brunch evaluation at this very nice place. And our budget for brunch for two of us was $250.
Whoa, that's a lot of mimosas.
And we need it. And we had one mimosa. We didn't have a lot of alcohol. They had a prefix that was $85. And so anyway, that one was more involved. The service was unbelievable. The food was unbelievable. But we still found some things to critique.
What were some areas that they needed to work on?
Oh, boy. Actually, the greeting was a little slow. There wasn't much, I have to say.
For sure.
But,
now, do you get the gift card ahead of time before you pay the meal, or do you get the gift card afterwards?
Oh, we receive the gift card before we do the evaluation.
Okay.
We use the gift card as anybody would when paying up.
Have you ever gone back to a restaurant and you noticed like a difference maybe based on your feedback and your evaluation?
Absolutely. One in particular was a really neat brasserie up in San Francisco. And the first time we went there, we had a server she was trying and she was doing pretty well on some things, but she wasn't ready for prime time. And we went back a couple or 3 months later, and that same woman was still there, but now she was like assistant server. So they realized this was not ideal. And, this woman seemed like she was happy doing that. It was a better role for her. So that was one example. We've seen other things with the way they set up the menu even sometimes.
You definitely want to hear the entire interview. And to do that, maybe you're on Apple, Amazon, YouTube Music, Spotify, or wherever you download your podcast, get your podcast. Just search for Kim Komando Today. That's Kim Komando Today. With a K, of course, Kim Komando Today. Let me tell you, my podcast is just perfect for if you're outside gardening, you're walking, you're getting your chores done, just hanging out at the house. Again, Kim Komando Today on Apple, Amazon, YouTube Music, Spotify, or again, wherever you get your podcasts. All right. You ever wondered where all these devices that you have, these smart devices, where they send your data? Where's the country that they're located? Well, there are two Chinese brands whose tech is in the crosshairs of Congress right now in Capitol Hill. DJI, the drone company, and the first responder cams from Hikvision. And now it's law in China for companies to share data with the government if asked. So what you want to do is always opt for gadgets with solid privacy features, encryption, and choose brands known for valuing your privacy. If you're not sure where something is from that you're buying, let me tell you about this website, productfrom.com. Once again, that's productfrom.com. And it's they've got, 20,000 different products there, productfrom.com. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as a great tip about, yes, your phone has an expiration date here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, Donna in Victoria, Texas. What an interesting question. Hi, Donna.
Hi, Kim. I'm so thankful that you took my call. Everything I know about tech, I get from your newsletter. So
thank you for that.
Anyway, I was telling the screener about the 70 stained glass windows in our church, that they've renovated the churches and everything is so bright and pretty. And I went in there to kind of see what they did, and I went over each window, and even though I've been going there for over 60 years, I never realized that they were in sequence in Jesus' life. They weren't just random windows.
Oh, how cool is that? That's awesome.
And because you'd sit here and there, and they're, compared to the size of the church, the windows are relatively small. because there's 14 long windows and there's 5 panels each. So depending where you are, you can only really see the ones that are in your immediate area.
Okay.
Anyway, I think that there are probably other people who have not appreciated them well. And I don't even know if you can see the caption. There's a little caption on each one that's in kind of, I don't know what the font would be. It's not that easy to read. But my digital pictures that I took that day were not great, but I was able to put them on the computer and kind of tinker with it and read all the captions and see them and think that I wanted to do a little better job. So I contacted the professional photographer who is interested in the project. And so once I get with him and have my work product, I would like to share this with the people of the parish, but I'm not sure. I don't want to make work for anybody else. Like, there's a website, but if I give him the work product and say, hey, don't you think this would be a good thing to add to your website, that's for somebody else to do. And, I'm sure I, check with the pastor, the bishop, go up the chain. But I'm sure it would be okay because these windows are beautiful, and I don't think that they're completely appreciated.
So what is it? So what is it that you want to do, Donna? What is it that you want to do?
I would like to advertise the windows, and so that people may want to come in the church just to see the windows.
Okay. All right,
and that would be the first thing.
So, do you want to put this on your website or a website, or?
Well, if the church isn't interested, I would like to do that.
Okay.
But, I think it would be most streamlined if it was like a tab on their website.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
They have a few pictures, but the pictures are always of the main altar and the outside front of the church, and you don't see the stained glass windows.
Well, you know what I mean. So if you had the pictures and you told the story, I mean, you could conduct a virtual tour of the whole story, the whole life of Jesus as being told in these beautiful stained glass windows. You could probably sell some merchandise with the stained glass windows itself at the church if you're looking at making money, and that's pretty popular. You could maybe license some of these photos to Shutterstock or Getty Images and make some residual income if somebody needs to use a picture of a stained glass for some reason in their work, that they could do that. You could also collaborate with, maybe there's a website called Viator, that's Viator, and also TripAdvisor. And so maybe somebody who's visiting, you're near San Antonio, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if somebody's visiting near San Antonio and they're looking for a religious experience, that maybe there are tours that you could help conduct or get the right person there. Say, once a week, we're going to have a tour. We're going to explain everything that's going around. So it's not just for the parishioners, but it's for anybody who has an interest. Okay.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know about that option.
And then
I had thought about the merchandise because the size of them would lend themselves to merchandise. But I just missed our parish festival, so I guess I'll have to wait till next year because that would be a really good time for the merchandise where people pay too much for things at auction.
Well, you could do the merchandise right now, okay? Because here's what I'm thinking, is that there's a website called Printful. That's Printful, Print full, and there's another one called Teespring. But Printful, what you can do is take an image, and they'll put the image on a bag. They'll put the image on a book. Like a blank book. You can put it on a T-shirt. You can put it on a hat. You can, whatever suits your fancy. And what happens is that you don't carry any inventory. When somebody buys it, Printful or Teespring, whoever you do, is that they print it and then they box it up and they ship it out, and then you make a few bucks.
Oh, well, that sounds like what I was hoping would be possible because, I don't want to go sit out in the front of the church at a table and sell my wares. That sounds good.
So, so there are all these different, so think a little bit of outside the box, right? So you like you said, you thought about merchandising to create some excitement for if somebody wants to go visit and get a tour at some point is that you could do a Facebook Live, Instagram Live, or maybe a Twitch stream where you're walking everybody around through the church. You could also collaborate maybe with a local university, with an art teacher, a history teacher. I'm sure they'd love to get involved in this project. And, there's a lot of things you can do. Why don't you give this some thought? And when you have some specific questions about doing X, Y, or Z, is just give me a call back and we can take this all to the next level. And Donna, thank you for your call. Sounds like a great, fun project for sure. All right, think about things that have an expiration date. Milk, orange juice, capers. I'm trying to think what's in my refrigerator right now. Cheese, maybe that takeout that you had 3 days ago. It was really good then, but I don't think the shrimp's going to be good when I get home from doing the show today. Well, there are other things that have expiration dates. Your tech. I know. You're like, what? Yes. When you buy certain pieces of technology, you are buying this tech and it has a built-in expiration date. I'm going to tell you more about it when we come right back here on the Kim Komando Show. No matter how much tender love and care you can shower upon all of your gadgets and gizmos, there is this unspoken truth. They come with an expiration date. Like, for example, when Apple revealed the iOS 17, it also said that the iPhone 10 and older models would be capped at iOS 16.7. So you'll still be able to get security updates, but when those updates stop, your phone is just open territory for malware attacks and exploits. It's just no longer safe to use. It has expired. So how long will your phone last? Okay. Google says that they're going to give you at least 3 years of updates on Pixel phones. Samsung says 4 years. But to know for sure, you have to go to this address, endoflife.date. I know, endoflife.date. That's endoflife.date. It tracks the end-of-life dates and support life cycles for all kinds of products, not just phones. Remember, that's endoflife.date. And you're sitting there saying, oh my gosh, does this mean I need to buy a new iPhone? Not necessarily, okay? Because maybe you can win one. And where do you have to go for that? winfromkim.com. I'm giving away a brand new iPhone 15 right now, but you have to go to this address, winfromkim.com.
Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 3.
Have you ever thrown away loose change? Have you ever thrown away loose change? Okay, I saw a stat the other day. I just wanted to pass along to you. Americans throw away about $68 million in loose change. Okay, there's a waste processing company by the name of Reworld, and it sifts through all the trash to collect metal. And in the past 7 years, it has gotten $10 million in usable coins. People just throwing away their money. Man, I'll tell you, if I had a nickel for every coin that I threw away, I'd have no nickels because throwing away money is just dumb. And on that happy note, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, America's digital goddess, here with you once again. This is just the best show. It really is. It's won all kinds of awards. It's the biggest show. It's the most trusted show. And yeah, I'm Kim Komando, and I'm saying it about myself, but I've worked really hard to get here. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top radio stations across the United States. And if you're into podcasts and webcasts, you could go ahead and join the Komando community. And, getting the show commercial-free, it's just a perk of membership. You can also get the show commercial-free on Spotify, as well as Apple Podcasts. And a big hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force, who are joining us on the American Forces Network Radio. Thank you guys and gals for your service. All right, I need 2 things. Number 1, just tell one person about the show. That's all. Number 2, send me your questions over at komando.com. Hit that link that says email Kim. All right, every single day I navigate through at least 35, 40 different websites to bring us the latest in technology. And here are the top 5 tech facts that are crucial for you to know right now. We're going to start with every boss's dream employee. Person who never leaves the desk, never takes vacation, the first person to log in, last person to log out. This person is not a chair spinner. Well, that person may be coming soon in the form of an AI bot. autonomous agents. And these AI agents can train themselves, learn new skills, be programmed, they can answer emails, reply to invoices, even do customer service. I don't know if you saw, but Best Buy came out this past week and said, "Ooh, the Geek Squad, we're going to be moving that all to AI." It makes sense, really. I mean, where is the TV repairman today? Where is that TV repairman? You don't need them. Computers are almost becoming just as disposable. In Japan, Alt.ai is creating video clones of employees by using 100 of its employees' data from email, Slack, and other communications. Now, LinkedIn, on another note, says the number of companies with a designated head of AI has tripled globally in the last 5 years. So if you're wondering, where should I be going with AI in my tech life, in my tech career? You're going to be a CAIO, Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer. And I looked it up, and these are the things that the CAIO does. Okay, number one, improve workforce efficiency using AI. That means you're probably going to fire people. Identify new revenue streams with AI. Okay, you're going to sell more things. I like this one. Mitigate ethical and security risks. That would be more like the CAIO doing CYA. Moving on to number two, coming to a hospital near you, AI robotic nurses. Why? They're cheap and there is a nursing shortage. NVIDIA and a company called Hippocratic, they've created this AI chatbot nurse. You talk to them like you would a real nurse over the screen. They're animated. They can answer your basic questions. But instead of spending $40 an hour for a nurse, you're going to spend $9 an hour. And NVIDIA says that these AI nurses are 43% better at noticing negative interactions with drugs than their human counterparts. Every year in the U.S., between 7,000 and 9,000 patients die as a result of a medical error. So if you're a nurse, start looking at specialized skills. And speaking of, corny joke time. What did the doctor tell the nurse after he made a mistake on the blood type record? What did the doctor tell the nurse after he made a mistake on the blood type record? You ready? Oh, I'm so sorry. I made a type O. Amazon is going to be pushing their smart shopping carts to grocery stores near you, and they're starting with tests in Kansas and Missouri. What does this mean? A touchscreen display on the smart shopping cart has built-in scanners. You just hold items up to scan them. It also weighs all your produce right in the cart. The touchscreen displays give you that running total. You can link it to your Amazon Prime account so you can pay all of that way. And also, if you toss some mayo in the cart, it's going to recommend buying some canned chicken and celery, along with the recipe for a chicken salad that could just be sent to your email or text or whatever it is. And this is where the dash carts, that's what they're calling them, are used. Shoppers tend to spend about 10% more than those who just use the regular carts. But think about this, just for a second. This isn't this far-fetched. It's going to have a whole bunch of data tracking built in. Right. Okay, we know that. So Amazon already knows a bunch about you, including where you live. So the prices aren't going to be on the shelves anymore. You're going to have to scan them in. So if you live in a really ritzy part of town, well, Amazon charge you more because they know where you live and the stuff that you buy. Very interesting. Oh, this is really big news. A lot of AI news this past week. Meta has launched their own AI chatbot. It's called the Large Language Model, the Llama 3. And it's now running in the search bar of its 4 major apps: Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp. You can use the Meta AI as a standalone app on the site meta.ai, but you can also ask web-related results powered by Google and Bing. Oh, gosh. They just put another nail on Google and Bing, didn't they, as far as doing searches? Because right now, when you are in Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, WhatsApp, you want to look something up, you don't have to minimize that app anymore. You just type it right there, and you get the search results. Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg, that was pretty smart. I'll give you that one. And finally, this coming in at number 5. When you're out to dinner with friends and family, you know what happens is somebody's like, hey, what about this? Who won the game? Whatever it may be. And then people pick up their phone and they start sharing videos. It actually becomes part of the conversation. I've done it. But we needed an incentive for people to put their phones down during dinner. And so what could that incentive be? What could that incentive be? You ready? Free wine. That's right. A restaurant in Italy, Verona, called Al Comandino is offering a free bottle of wine to guests who agree to lock away their phones during the meal. When you arrive, you can secure your phone in a locked box right at the entrance. And guess what? 90% of the people opt for the free bottle of wine. Wow. Speaking of, if you were 8 years old when Red Wine was released, yeah, I'll tell you, you be 40 now. That was actually a good one. All right, coming up, we're talking about how you can keep hackers out of your security cameras. And also, there's a secret way to see who's selling your data. And of course, we have all of your great phone calls and me. You don't want to miss that on the Kim Komando Show. I'm giving away a brand new iPhone 15 right now. Right now, you can enter to win at winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. And that's where you can enter to win that brand new iPhone 15. You do have to get one issue of my free newsletter. Okay, that's it. winfromkim.com. All right, David in Knoxville, Tennessee, welcome.
I have a fairly unusual question, I guess. My parents, blessed, they're still around, but they're 92 and 90.
Okay.
And Dad's lost his mobility. He can barely stand up now. So he sits in a chair most of the day. He's got a walker and that sort of thing. I bought him one of those chairs that you punch the button and it stands you up.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But Mom is 90, and she's like the Energizer Bunny. She just goes and goes and goes and goes. And she doesn't weigh 85, 90 pounds, but they're both starting to fall fairly regularly.
Okay.
And Mom can't pick Dad up. So we got him hooked into the fire department. They call the fire department. They come by with, no lights and sirens and pick him up, put him back in his chair. But I'm trying to find a way. This is my question. I'm trying to find a way to get Mom to sit in her chair more. I don't want to chain her to it, right? But it's the numbers game. If I get her off her feet for a longer period of time, less likely she's going to fall, right?
Right.
So I was trying to, I was brainstorming with my sister, something like a tablet, iPad, something like that has something on it that would keep her attention, that she could sit in the chair and do. Not 24/7, but just.
No, I get it. I understand what you're saying.
More often.
All right. Well,
but I don't really know what's out there.
Okay, well, you got a couple of options. Your inclination to get her an iPad is, I think it's pretty spot on. You can set it up so that she can't make in-app purchases, because you don't want that ability, because it's so easy. But what I like about an iPad and an older adult is that they can make the screen bigger where they need it, just by pulling the screen apart. Just like with their fingers, I want to zoom in this, and then you could put apps right on the iPad itself for, say, solitaire, Wordle, casino games, blackjack, whatever it may be, and as well as put a link for. Does she text?
No.
Okay. You could put a link that will, when she touches this, that it will automatically call you. Okay.
So
you can think of it as an all around tool. Now you also have another option, and that's an Amazon Echo Show. The Echo Show is a video screen that she can touch and she can play games on. She can watch the news. She can get the weather. And what I really like about it is that all she has to say is the A word. I don't want to say it out loud because then everybody's devices will come up, right? But she just can say the A word, drop in on David. And then your Amazon Echo Show, and you'll say, oh, hi, Mom, how are you? She'll be fine.
Oh, cool.
Okay. How's Dad? And then she can flip the screen over. Here, say hi to David, honey. Okay. So he says hi, and then you guys can just chit chat, and then you can say, hey, you know what? Let's talk. You haven't talked to your grandson Jason in a while. Let's have Jason to this call. Okay. So And then she said, well, you know what? I'll talk to Jason later. And then she can drop in on Jason. So there's instant communication.
Yeah.
The other thing that it does is that you can also program it behind the scenes that if it doesn't see her before, say, at 10 a.m., then you get alerted.
Oh,
okay.
That's handy.
Okay, so that means if she can get in the chair, there's something wrong. Okay?
Yeah, right.
You can have it so that it reminds her to take her medication. It reminds her to tell your dad to take the medication. Okay. You can have up to 5 people see all these records. Okay, if she falls, all she has to say is a word, I fell. Okay. Call 911. Okay. I mean, you know, of course, you know, there are the medical guardians and there are the, you know, all the other devices that are also good for elderly folks that are going to fall because, you know, a fall is deadly. We all know that.
Sure.
And so
is that fairly easy to set up?
Oh my gosh, David, it's easy.
Really?
Yeah. But so you got an 8-inch, you got a 10-inch. Might want to get her, if her eyesight's probably not the greatest, I'd probably get her the 10-inch Echo Show.
Right.
You maybe get the 5-inch or the 8-inch. Now they do have a pay program that's $20 a month that gives you more caregiver quote type features, whether or not you need to pay that. But I'll tell you, I used this with my mother, an Echo Show, and it was fabulous. I will tell you that. It was fabulous. You know, I mean, I still remember I was like upstairs and all of a sudden I hear like my mother would say, it wasn't Kim because she was from Brooklyn. She'd say, Kimberly. Okay. So I'd be like, Kimberly. And I'm like, oh my gosh. You know, so, but it's just really wonderful because they don't feel out of touch because they can see and talk to you. They don't feel isolated. And then you get peace of mind, which is priceless. And so I would look more at the Echo Show at this point. I mean, you know your mom. Okay.
No, I mean, that actually sounds perfect. They're in Texas, and my wife and I just recently, about 4 months ago, retired to Florida, and they're still mad that we left Texas.
Well, I'm mad that you left Texas, but you don't. My opinion doesn't matter.
Well, no, it was one. We live in the largest retirement community in the world in Florida.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Just awesome.
No, that's for sure.
Have that instant connection, like you were just saying, which is almost online 24/7.
Oh yes,
that's what it sounds like.
It is. Right? It's online 24/7.
So I'm one punch away from the screen.
She doesn't even have to hit the screen. She doesn't have to.
She just says the A word.
She says the A word. Drop in on David.
Wow, that's super cool.
And then you can say the same thing. I've got a lot of information about how to use an Echo Show with the older adults in your family over at my website at commando.com. But, look at it on Amazon, I'm telling you, and look at the caregiver features. And this is really something that can make a difference in a lot of folks' lives. I know that it really helped me with my mom. And again, that's the Echo Show. Just search over at commando.com. David, you need any help afterwards? Just give me a shout back. I'm always here for you. We have a great tip on the website. If you are going to be looking for a summer campsite, you want to go to a site like Camp Flare and Camp Scanner, because what you can do is you can sign up and then they're going to tell you if there are any cancellations at any of the national park campsites. So you can just slide right in there. They charge for that, but heck, they'll tell you like every 5 seconds. Amazing. Once again, that's Camp Flare and Camp Scanner. Coming up, Ali Seligman's joining us. We're going to talk about freebies for small businesses here on the Kim Commando Show. All right, coming up later on, a Gmail hack to see who's selling your data. I also have a great tip about how to keep hackers out of your security camera. And joining us right now on the Kim Commando Show is our amazing and very talented and super smart, if you're watching the show, you can see she has her glasses on today. She looks so smart. Ali Seligman. Hi there, Al.
Hi, Kim.
So, businesses, right? And mine is the rule of thirds. And what that means is that for every dollar that we spend, we have to earn $3.
Oh, I've never heard you say that rule. I like that.
And so, because this way, we make sure that we pay all of our taxes.
Yep.
We pay our expenses.
And then we also have a little bit of profit so that this way we get to stay in business.
Well, imagine that. Isn't that what every business owner wants?
Right? Now, but mine is mine's the law of thirds. So for every $1, I have to earn 3. I probably should have told you this years ago, because that's why sometimes when you come in, it's like, well, it's only going to be $400. I'm like, yeah, but I got to go make $1,200. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Well, good to know. So much just clicked into place for me.
Yes, exactly. All right. So you put together some great freebies.
I did. People love free stuff. I love free stuff. It's my favorite price.
Stuff. Yes,
you too.
of
Yeah.
course.
So this is super important for businesses too, right? Where, yeah, you have to maximize your profits. You can't spend money on everything. And luckily now there are a lot of good free things. I mean, there have been for a while, but I've got some good ones that I think people are going to like. And I can already hear you saying, Allie, where's the link to this? How do I find this? I'm never going to remember. Don't worry. We're going to put all of this in the current newsletter, so you can just click the links and go right to these sites.
Yeah. And that's the problem. Because even if you're sitting there and you're trying to write this down, I guarantee you that you're going to write just 1 or 2 letters off.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then you're going to send a nasty email and you're going to say, Kim and Allie, why did you put me on that porn site?
That woman on your show has no idea what she's saying. Well, no,
Yes.
It's so easy. There are so many websites. And really, this is a thing that people do on purpose, right? They buy websites that are very similar to the typos you might make. And so then, yeah, you end up on a malware site or a porn site or whatever it is.
I know. It's so frustrating.
It is. So let's say you want to get more traffic to your website. Okay, probably everyone with a website wants that, right?
Exactly. Because the website traffic is going in the crapper.
It sure is. And if you're having that oh no, what do I do? There are some free tools. Now, this is a particularly good one to me because a lot of these tools are so expensive. All the SEO tools, seriously, hundreds of dollars a month. But one that is totally free and works well, it is called Uber Suggest. I won't get into the whole thing, but there's a marketing guy. His name is Neil Patel. He makes really good tools. This is one of them. Uber Suggest, you can get keyword searches. You can see what your competition's doing. Really, you can say, okay, these are the other, plumbers in my area. These are their websites. These are their search terms. And you can get a list of here's all the things you should do so that you can compete. If you are selling stuff, okay, we've been talking about those bin stores. I don't know about you, Kim. So I've got a recent Poshmark obsession. Do you know Poshmark?
I've never been there. I've heard of it.
Okay, so it's an app or a website. You can go to it either way, where you buy basically used nice stuff. So it's like going to a consignment store, except it's online, so you get access to everyone's, right? There are so many people that you can tell they're shopping at either a bin store, consignment stores, estate sales, whatever, and turning this into a business where they ship stuff out. Well, all those shipping supplies get expensive. And I don't think that most people know that the USPS will just give you free shipping supplies for business.
Everything. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Wonderful.
There's a whole site that they've got where you can look at all this stuff and order it, store.usps.com. But you can get basically everything that you're probably already paying for free. So no more paying for that stuff, please.
Now, so I saw a video this morning and, I was sitting there just on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was or whatever, but I just thought, what a great idea this is. This woman throws dinner parties for 6 to 8 people.
Okay.
And what she does is before the dinner party that she goes to one of those bin places where that's where you can buy Amazon returns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super cheap.
Okay. And so she buys them and then she puts them back inside of an Amazon box, whatever it is, and with all the wrapping. And then people have to pick a box from the bin.
Yeah.
And so it's this one woman had she got a little gnome, but the head was cut off, And then this other guy had a box that it was like a Jack in the Box, but whatever was supposed to come out of the box, there was nothing there. I mean, I just thought, what? I would love to do that. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be really fun. That's also a really good idea for a holiday gift exchange.
Oh yeah,
going fully in on the okay, these white elephant gifts suck, so we might as well just have more fun with it.
Yeah, let's just take it to extreme. All right, what do you got next?
If you need help with your social media posts, I am not going to be, spilling the beans here when I say, really, ChatGPT is your best option. It's free, yes. You don't need to use one of the fancy paid services for it. I have tried several of them to try them out. ChatGPT does probably the best job I've seen, which, great, it's free. What if you want to automate things for your business? This one's a little techier. We actually use this here. There's a service called Zapier. And think of this as a conduit between different services. So say on your website, you have a form that collects email addresses. and you always have to go in to your website, get those email addresses, put them in your email provider, send the email. Well, Zapier connects all this stuff, so it just does everything automatically for you. Oh, yes. It's so nice. You can do, I think, hundreds of these connections totally for free. You don't have to have a paid account. If you start working with a ton of data, yes, you do. But truly, this is something that is free, and if your business is pretty small, you're not going to have to pay a dime for it.
All right, we have time for just one more.
Well, that's good. I have one more. And
excellent.
If you are to the place where you are ready to scale up your business, one of the hardest parts of that, of course, is hiring, right? Getting people onboarded. I've heard a lot of friends, people that, maybe we've had this conversation, Kim. When you bring somebody new on, it takes a good long while before they're actually able to do their job. So this company is called Scribe. Again, none of these companies or anybody that have paid us money for this. These are just things that I've either used myself or have friends who've used and think they're great. But Scribe basically makes it really easy to onboard people. So you can make documents for them to, basically everything you need them to know. And then you have those forever for everyone you bring on. It's training, essentially makes it so your employees can feel useful, both themselves, and you can feel like, great, you're taking things off my plate immediately. So that's called Scribe. Again, free version is great. You don't have to pay for anything. You can if you get to be a really big business, but most people just use it for free.
Which is, we love free. Free is always good. And speaking of free, you need to get the newsletter. Sign up for our free newsletter. Yep. Go to getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. Sign up for our free newsletter. And then Allie, our amazing content queen, is going to put all of these in there. Thanks, Al.
Thanks.
All right. You have security cameras, but I want to make sure that they can't get hacked and somebody can sneak in and take a look. Because unless you take some extra steps, it's actually pretty easy for anyone to drop in. So your first step is, I know, it's that annoying password. Make sure it's tough, at least 12 characters, mixture of upper, lowercase, letters, numbers, you know the deal. And make sure that it's a password that you're not using on any other account. Then just take the time and set up 2FA, two-factor authentication. It's mandatory with better cameras, but those cheapo cameras might not offer it. And if they don't offer 2FA, send the camera back. Now, while you're locking things down, check out your home router's admin page. I want you to give it a unique password and also enable the highest level of encryption too. I know, total pain, but it's worth it. Oh, one more thing. Make sure that you get any firmware updates along the way. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as later on, a really simple hack to see who is selling your email address here on The Kim Komando Show. Hey, listen, it's this address, winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com. That's where you can enter to win a brand new iPhone 15. Let me tell you, you are going to love it. My newsletter, that's what I'm talking about. At winfromkim.com, that's where you get just one issue of the newsletter, but you can also enter to win that iPhone 15. That's winfromkim.com. All right, Jeff in Lincoln, Nebraska. Hi there, Jeff.
After 40 years of having a website, and I didn't have a website for 40 years. After 40 years of having a website, business, and everything else, I still have an email address tied to that website that everyone that knows me would use. Mm-hmm. I'm giving up the website. There's no point in keeping it running, keeping the expense of a server and all the other stuff going. And I'm going to be giving up this website, which happens to, my email address is tied as a .com to my website. Problem is, I'm just not fond of Google. I grew up with Microsoft Outlook.
Oh,
and I love Outlook.
Oh my gosh, you're killing me! You're killing me with Outlook.
I know. But I like the Outlook. I like the mail format of Outlook. I've used it for so long.
That's what it is.
Second nature.
Okay, but let me ask you a question though. How many times have you rebuilt that PST file, buddy? I mean, come on.
I keep avoiding going through that by not doing the updates.
Okay. Oh, see, there you go. Uh-huh. That's one way. Yeah, that's smart.
Change is not good for me.
Okay. All right. Since change is not good for you and you hate Google, okay.
Well, I don't hate Google. I'm just not fond of their format.
Okay. Because you like Outlook.
Right.
Because you're like the one person. No, you know what? My sister, my dear sister, I love her. But I cannot get her off of Microsoft Outlook. I'm like, come on, honey, move with the times. She's like, nope, I like Outlook. I like the way it's all organized. I can color code things. And anyway, so you're looking.
My argument with Outlook is The contact system from Microsoft Outlook, to me, I can't get anything else to emulate it.
I can see that.
I don't want to go back. I've got 700 or 800 contacts in there. I don't want to go back and have to redo all of them.
All right. So here's what your options are. Number one, I would keep the website. Okay. You don't have to have it up on the web. Okay. You can just use that as your mail server. And so this way you have complete control of all your email.
Okay.
I mean, because otherwise you're going to look at spending $50 a year for fast mail or hush mail or whatever it may be. But, you can self-host your own email. It's not complicated. It's really not.
Okay.
It used to be complicated. It was. I mean, it used to be like, we're going to be like, okay, got to call my geek of the week over here, get them going.
Right.
But now there are so many different options for you to get into self-hosting. Unless you really just don't want that domain anymore. Because what you can do is just.
Well, I love the domain. I love the domain. And like I said, I've got so many people that's we've got a Google email address. It's kind of like the family address and the one you give out when everybody has to have an email address before you can place your order type of thing.
Yes.
And that's what we use it for. But the idea of having to get through, I've got some people on there that probably wouldn't remember that I notified them that I was dropping the email address and I'd never hear from them again type of thing. So, yeah.
Especially if they owe you money, We want to.
No, unfortunately, no. Yeah.
Not too many of those. Well, that's good.
Not too many of those.
So you're going to keep the domain. You can take down the site. You can just, park something up there, put a picture of Jeff up fishing,
Right.
That would be fun. That would actually be funny.
What does it cost to have somebody? I mean, is that an expensive option to go in and have just have somebody host the domain?
No. As a matter of fact, if you have your domain through like somebody like GoDaddy, they offer mail hosting right as part of that. So,
okay.
So that's probably the easiest place to start because they're gonna serve as the mail host and mail like MAIL host.
Right.
So this way you don't have to really mess around with anything and you just pay them a nominal yearly fee for them to just handle all that and then just replace the whole, back up the website just for giggles, right?
Yeah.
The other thing that I would also do before you take it down is go over to archive.org.
Okay.
And at archive.org, that's where they take pictures of all the websites that have ever existed in the world. And I would just, for giggles, I would say, hey, here's my website. Can you make sure that there's a copy of it at least? So like 100 years from now, maybe your great-great-grandchild wants to say, hey, I wonder what that website looked like long ago. Then they can go and take a look at it. I think that's just kind of sweet.
Archive.org. Okay.
And so look at wherever you're hosting the site at and put a great picture of you, like, I don't know, holding a drink on the beach in Hawaii, or something like that. just a funny little picture there because you seem like a great guy. And I think people would appreciate the humor in it. Like, gone fishing with an F, of course. And then if that doesn't work, there's a service mail in a box. That's pretty good. And also Zimbra, Zimbra. But I would really take a look first at just go through your domain register, and they offer now mail using that domain address. So this way you can keep that bad boy forever and ever. Jeff, thanks for your call today. Now, you hear me answering these questions all the time. And if you are sitting there saying, oh, I wish that I could get Kim to answer my question, there's a really simple way for you to do this. You go to the website, komando.com, and then there's a link that says email Kim. I will tell you that I read every single note that you guys and gals send me there. And again, that's at the website at komando.com. And I know, boy, I'm just overwhelmed in questions that if I go onto our Facebook page, I get DMs there on Messenger and on Instagram and there's X and on YouTube and things like that. But if you really want me to take a look at your email, you really want to make sure that I see it and not somebody who's handling social media for us, that's where you need to go to komando.com. That's KOMANDO, komando.com. And hit that link that says email Kim. And I know just as I'm saying this, somebody's going to go, oh, I'm going to send you a note, Kim Commando. And in that note, you're going to say, oh, Kim, I don't believe that you read every single note. I don't believe that because you don't, how could somebody do that? And so I'm just going to put a note here and say, if you really read this, make sure that you hit reply and use the number 7 or something. It's dumb like that. I don't play games, right? I don't have time to play games, okay? Just know and trust me that I read every single note. And if you want to actually talk to me here on the show, you can schedule a time. So you don't have to sit on hold for hours like some people do. You can just schedule you right in. Again, that's commando.com and hit that link that says email Kim. Spammers get a hold of your email address in a lot of ways. But the most common is they buy up contact lists from online apps and services that you use. But there is a trick to see who sold you out. It's really simple to do using Gmail. You put a plus symbol and a unique identifier after your username before the @ symbol. So it's going to be like your name, Hot Bob in Kentucky, plus the app name or the website name or whatever it is at gmail.com. Now, this works because Gmail disregards anything after the plus symbol, but will still deliver the mail. So then, here's the magic part. When you receive a spam email addressed to that sender, you can say, that's the one who sold me out. That's the one. Again, the format is your Gmail username plus the app name at gmail.com. Okay, you just use that plus and then whatever you want to do at gmail.com because they disregard everything. Once again, enter to win that brand new iPhone 15 at winfromkim.com.
Thanks for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 4.
I always like to kick things off with something fun and interesting. And there's this guy by the name of Eric Beate. And he has an air tag. Well, I should say he had an air tag in his luggage during an Alaska Airlines flight. Well, it slipped out of his luggage somehow. Bummer. But weeks after the flight, Eric checked his Find My app. And he was just astonished to find that his air tag wasn't just active, but had just been like crisscrossing the entire globe, logging 5 flights a day. So far, it's gone to 37 different cities, stops all across North America, Austin, Tucson, Vancouver, and he can see exactly where his air tag is at. But he's not telling Alaska Airlines about this. Why? Because he's having a lot of fun because he's going viral. He's been using Flight Radar 24, by the way, to track his plane. And speaking of, I just hate jokes about airplanes. Why? They just fly right over my head. Oh, yeah. Ouch. That was a bad one. And that happy note, I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. You've just tapped into the best show, the biggest show, the most trusted show about all things digital. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States. You can find us as a podcast, as a webcast, commercial-free over at commando.com. And also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And I need 2 things from each and every one of you. Number 1, just tell one person about the show. It's the easiest, it's the best way, it's the fastest way for us to grow the show. And number 2, tell me what you want more of, what you'd like to know more about. Head over to commando.com and hit that link that says email Kim. All right, every single day I go to at least 35 different websites to make sure we're both up to date on what's going on in the tech universe. And here are 5 things that you need to know right now. We're going to start with Google and ChatGPT. See, when ChatGPT arrived in late November 2022, Google went totally into panic overdrive. I don't know if you remember this, but they actually called back from retirement their CEOs and other C-levels. And because never before was Google really, truly challenged that they may go out of business. So Google's initial response was to change the Google search and just to provide short answers without sending you to various websites. Well, as a consequence, website traffic plummeted. And what happened? Well, Google's revenues plummeted along the way because they make a lot of money by ad dollars. So Google has quietly taken the next step. Now, if you go into Google, you type in any query, you might get a reply called AI Overview. This is an answer generated by Google's own internal AI. They're calling it Google Magi. After a year and a half of nonstop work, Google says that it is better than ChatGPT. More importantly, these answers are not coming from Google's disgraceful woke chatbot, Gemini. But as always, make sure that you check Google's answers very, very carefully. Moving on to number 2, let's talk about Tesla. Just when Tesla thought that things couldn't possibly get worse, they did. All Tesla Cybertruck deliveries were completely halted. And if you already own one, they're saying don't drive it. Now, you might go back 3 years ago when Tesla could literally do no wrong. Its stock was sky high, over $400 a share. Everyone loved the cars until they found out what owning an EV was really all about, and then sales plummeted. Well, the stock is down to just over $150 with no bottom in sight. 14,000 employees have been laid off. And so far this year, owners are also reporting that the truck's accelerator is going to stick in the full speed position on the Cybertruck, being called a fatal flaw. So that's why all the deliveries have been stopped. I fully expect a recall. So if you do own one, keep it off the road. Your life may depend on it. Moving on to number 3, it's far too easy for your teens to receive and send nude photos and videos, and that immature decision can come back to haunt them. Talking about anguish, humiliation, financial blackmail. It's actually illegal to send nude photos of minors. But with AI, those photos can be manipulated to make the person seem like they're doing far more than whatever they were doing when the photo was taken. Now, even though it's a big part of the problem, Instagram wants you to believe that it has the answer to solve everything. Users who receive nude images will see a pop-up explaining how to block the sender or to report the chat. Now, those who attempt to send a nude via direct messages are going to be advised to be cautious. Cautious, yes. Once again, social media tries to come off as a good citizen when really it's the problem itself. Number 4, it happened to me the other day when my phone rang. The caller ID said the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. Here's what happened. The caller claimed to be from the Federal Trade Commission, but he wasn't. The name he gave me, though, was a real FTC employee. So when I Googled the name, a real employee popped up. Now, this scammer said I owed the FTC a fine. I'm going to be arrested if I don't pay the fine. And get this, I should actually go buy 2 gold bars from Costco and take it to a local address. Well, I know it sounds far-fetched, but believe it or not, Americans are falling for this scam. When the average take when somebody does is around $7,000. Whoa. So if you're called, stay calm. The FTC is not going to call you. It cannot arrest you. It's not going to ask for gold or bitcoins or gift cards. So if you get a call like this, just ignore it. Don't engage the caller. And finally, this coming in at number 5. Wow. You don't need me to tell you that we are living in a very strange time. For instance, we're now using online porn to measure human behavior during last week's solar eclipse. Yeah, a couple of things here. The world's largest online pornographic website, Pornhub, reports that during the solar eclipse, searches for anything regarding sex in the word eclipse skyrocketed by 6,700%. Whoa. Terms like eclipse sex. In other words, I can't say here on the air with the word eclipse were the top searches. What those people thought they might find, I don't know, anyone's guess. And in the path of totality, porn traffic plunged. Both the addicted, the curious, it seems from Texas through Arkansas, Chicago, Ohio, up through New England, actually put down their phones, their iPads, their tablets, their TVs, whatever, to actually get up and go outside and watch the eclipse. Yes. All right, coming up. Oh my gosh, I have so much to share with you guys. I've got some great tips, like, for example, how to find your car in a lost parking lot. I know it happens, especially if you park your car and you go on a trip, then you forget where it is. We have a bunch of tips to organize your collections. I'm talking about things that maybe you are handed down, say your grandfather's pipe or your grandma's favorite bakeware, whatever it may be. Or maybe it's a Yadro collection or a Hummel, whatever. Also, we've got a couple ways to avoid fake home listings. You don't want to miss that. And then we have your phone calls, and you have me, Kim Komando. How'd you like to win a brand new iPhone? Yes, raise your hand if you'd like to win a brand new iPhone. Then you need to go to this special address, winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. That's where I'm giving away a $1,000 iPhone. You are just going to love it. I'm telling you. Yes. Even if you have an iPhone, maybe if you want a new one, you want to gift somebody an iPhone because you're just tired of dealing with those green bubbles. You know what I'm talking about. Head over to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Now, you might be sitting there saying, all right, what's the catch, Kim Komando? I mean, why are you giving away a brand new iPhone? Well, okay, let me be honest. There is a catch. You have to get one issue of my free newsletter. That's it. Just one issue of my free newsletter. you can unsubscribe anytime, just one issue of my free newsletter. I mean, that's not a bad deal, okay? Once again, that's winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. And that newsletter, by the way, even if you're already getting it, you can enter to win too. I have people ask me like, so if I already get the newsletter, can I enter? Yes, winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. You're going to join 500,000 folks who get TechSmart every single day with our free newsletter called The Current. All right, 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. Just a quick reminder, if you're just too shy to come on the show, I get that. You can still drop me your questions by heading over to the website at commando.com. There's a link that says Email Kim. And how about we get started with Robert in San Antonio, Texas. Hello there, Robert.
First of all, I want to say I enjoyed the new newsletter. And I got the tip today about just typing the math problem into the browser.
It works, right?
So it worked just fine. I think, what's 40% of 50 is 20. Well, I knew the answer, but so did it got, 1.3 million replies in 0.3 seconds. So that was fine.
Well, here's the deal, Robert, is that it can probably do math just a little bit faster than you. Just a little tiny bit.
Yeah. I can do a little bit manually, but, I've become dependent on the calculator.
We all have.
Most people do. But here's my question. My question is, I have a 55-year high school reunion coming up in about 2 years, and I've got 100 and some odd names that I need to track down to get invitations. So I have 104 confirmed email addresses. I've got another 105 that may or may not be accurate. So I'm seeing if you can help me cut any corners. I don't really want to get into the mode of a bunch of trial subscriptions.
Yeah.
Because then my credit card's out there all over the place, and I don't know if they're going to automatically renew or not. That's a management nightmare.
Okay, so now you're in charge of the high school reunion.
Well, I'm just compiling the Excel spreadsheet with all the names on it, and then I send out the email notifications. I'm not the champion of the.
Okay, all right. So
we've got a committee for that.
All right, perfect. Okay, so let's talk about how to find people's email addresses that you only know their first and last name. And there are various places where you can actually do this. Number one, of course, social media, right? And so what I would encourage you to do is to set up a Facebook group page just for your reunion, and you can make it private, invitation only. And then you start asking other classmates to join in. And that also becomes a great place for you to say, hey, whatever happened to Ann Smith? Does anybody know anything? What's her maiden, who does she marry? Is there a different name that we should be trying to find? Then other people can kind of collaborate with you. So you're not just operating in a vacuum. Follow my drift? Okay.
Yeah. In fact, we have a Facebook page, but the question of, do you know where these people are, has never been raised.
Oh, well, see, there you go. That's why you called me. Okay, so we can kind of work through this.
Nobody ever thought of it. Yeah.
And then, of course, don't forget LinkedIn. That's always a good place to track somebody down. Now, let's say after you do all this, you are still like saying, we still have like 50 to 25 people that we're still looking for. What you can do, and this gets a little bit creative, is that you fire up a website and then you put their names in a list saying we are looking for these people to participate in our high school reunion. And then you do a contact us form. And then, of course, you're going to put a captcha there. So this way the bots don't jump in and they just cause all kinds of havoc. Okay. But the whole idea behind this is that so many people will do an ego search, meaning that they're going to go to Google and they're going to type in their own name. And when they type in their own name, is that your page is going to pop up saying, we are looking for you. And they'll be like, oh, wow, this is so great. Okay. Now, you mentioned people search sites and you don't want to give your credit card. And I don't blame you, because it's always like, I don't know, they give you a little bit of information and then they say, okay, for more, you need to pay us a monthly fee, another monthly fee, another monthly fee. And you're like, oh, gosh, I'm just looking for names. There is one search site that I recommend that you can look at for free, but I also recommend that you get yourself off of this site as well. Okay, so it's a double-edged sword, and it's called Family Tree Now. Again, that's familytreenow.com, and it's set up as a family tree. But you'll be shocked at the amount of information that you can find out about yourself and anybody else out there, and like up to and including not just their home address, but maybe even their cell phone number, their landline, people that they're related to, kids, how old they are, their parents. I mean, it just goes on and on. Now, in case you want to opt you out of that database, which I recommend that you do, we've got the opt-out instructions over at commando.com. So just search at commando.com, say opt-out family tree now. But, pose that question in the Facebook group, set up a website. Then there are also all the other organizations that will help you do a family reunion. That's why I was thinking maybe if you were in charge of it, you can use websites like Alumni Class, Class Creator, Eventbrite, and those are some ways that you can actually set up a high school reunion website that'll make life a heck of a lot easier. Now, if you need any other help afterwards, just know I'm your go-to gal. Just give me a call back here, Robert. I just am always here for you guys. All right, let's see who's next. Ricky in Wilmington, South Carolina. Hi there, Ricky.
Don't really have a huge dilemma, but I would like to remote in to my work computer when I'm on vacation. I know I'm supposed to take it easy.
I was just going to say, what part of like work computer and vacation? It's not supposed to be in the same sentence, okay?
I know it. But sometimes it's peace of mind, just to be able to check in briefly. And I have a wonderful assistant who occasionally has to miss work because she has a non-speaking autistic daughter. Mm-hmm. And she wants to do the same thing. She wants to be able to stay current with what she's doing and maybe not miss as many hours as she has to sometimes. So do you know of any safe, secure options for remoting in?
Well, for sure, because we have on staff, I like to refer to him as our IT genius, John. Okay, John is amazing.
Hello.
Okay, everybody should have John in their lives. I mean, he's just, he's kind, he's patient. And, unlike a lot of IT people, I'm going to very general terms, don't get mad at me. If you're in IT, I mean, I'm a geek of the week too, so I can say this, is that a lot of IT folks, they don't have good communication skills. You know what I mean? They can be a bit abrupt in their conversations. Okay. Exactly. So when John uses something in particular, I'm always like, John, what are you using? And he's also very critical. So for John to decide and use a product, I'm like, okay, it must be really good. So there's one in particular that I use this for remote access because when things are not working at my house, of course, I'm going to ask John to, jump on and try to fix it. He also has to jump on, certain team members here on their computers to make sure that, they're all up to date and good things like that. He uses TeamViewer. And so TeamViewer can be configured for remote access. Some other things that you want to keep in mind is just because you're going to be using your email address for the remote access, just be sure that email address is super locked down because you want to make sure that they don't have access to other things, right? I mean, having access to your Gmail account is one thing, but having access to your work computer could really be a big disruptor on so many different levels, right? Okay.
Exactly, yes.
So TeamViewer or AnyDesk, both are free programs, by the way, TeamViewer or AnyDesk. And now, keep in mind, you're on vacation, so promise me you're going to have some drinks with little umbrellas.
You bet I will. You know it, Kim.
Right. Awesome. Well, thanks for your call today, Ricky, and have a great, safe trip. You got it. Ricky, doesn't it make you want to sing that song, Ricky, Don't Lose My Number? I know. I won't sing it. I promise. I have the worst voice. All right, let's switch gears a little bit and let's talk about how to find your car when you lose it in a parking lot. I know it has happened to you. It has happened to me. I mean, you ever been in a massive parking garage after a vacation or maybe a concert or a shopping spree, just wandering around because you're like, I think I parked it over here. I'm almost positive. So here's how you find the lost car. First, check your phone's Bluetooth history. It logs when you disconnected your phone from your car, and it can actually give you an idea of where you parked your car. Now, let me tell you, it's not a GPS, but it might be enough to jog your memory. Next, if you haven't turned off location history in your Google account, your phone was tracking your movements. So here's what you need to do. You open Google Maps, tap on your profile, and then hit your timeline. Then go back to about when you parked your car. Boom, it's right there. Now, what about next time? Okay. Both Google and Apple Maps will let you mark a location when you park. Better yet, what you want to do is throw in an Apple AirTag or a tile tracker in your car so that this way you never, ever lose it again. All right, so maybe somebody in your family has a collection. Maybe you have a collection of really important, valuable stuff. So what's the best way to organize it? I have that tip coming up that you don't want to miss here on the Kim Commando Show. right, there's a scam spreading like crazy. I mean, people are putting up fake home listings. I know. So I've got 3 ways to help you spot the fakes. And also we have tips on organizing those collections and more of your phone calls, as always. But before we go back to all your calls, let's talk about how to get better rest with your phone. Because when you sleep well at night, oh my gosh, the next day you're like, I can set the world on fire. But if you're struggling to doze off after scrolling, you're definitely not the only one. It turns out that blue light beaming from our screens, it really does mess with melatonin. Yeah, the hormone that helps us sleep. Now, some good news. Your phone has this really nifty sleep mode to help you out. If you have an iPhone, just head into your health app, hit sleep, and then turn on the sleep schedule. This is where you set your own ideal sleep times in a wind down period, maybe like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Because after you do this, your phone is going to dim and quiet down as bedtime rolls in, creating this ambiance that will get you some rest. Now, if you're on Team Android, no worries, dig into your settings, but you're going to find digital well-being and parental controls. And there you're going to turn on bedtime mode. You can turn off notifications during nighttime. Plus, there's even a feature for cough and snore detection. I know what you're saying. I don't snore, Kim Commando. Oh, I bet you do. All right, let's see. Teresa in Richmond, Virginia. Glad to have you with us.
My mom is 85 years old, and she's had macular degeneration for about 5 years now.
Okay.
But macular is an evil beast, and it's kind of winning the battle with her. And we've done a lot to help keep her in her home, keep her engaged with the world. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that we're stalled on is her computer keyboard.
Okay.
So mom likes to get up every morning and do a couple things. She likes to do Wordle, she likes to send email, and she likes to stalk Facebook.
That's great.
Okay. I know, right? But she can no longer see that keyboard. And so I've ordered quite a few different configurations and keyboards for her with different colors and all kinds of stuff. And nothing is working.
Have you tried, it's made by a company called Chester Creek?
You know, I looked at those the other day. I was not familiar with those, but I was just told about those the other day.
Yeah, that's, what I like about it is that each key on the keyboard is very big. It uses contrast. Yeah. I think each key is 1 inch square.
It is.
So that's where I would do that. I'd also start looking at maybe Zoom text, some screen magnification software if you haven't already.
Yeah, we have. We've done a little of that, and so the learning curve with mom is pretty high for anything that's new.
Yeah.
And so, I feel what we've done with other things in her home with her computer monitor was we've made it very large. Her television is very large. And so we were looking for a very large keyboard. And I think Chester Creek with the 1 inch keys may be that answer.
Yeah, the other thing you might want to think about, Teresa, is buying her a nice big iPad.
Big iPad.
Because here's what I'm thinking. A 12.9 inch iPad. Okay. Because what she can do, she can pull up Facebook, she can pull up Wordle, and she can pull up her email. And then when she wants to make it bigger, she can just move her fingers to make it as big as she needs it.
Okay.
And then because the iPad works vertically as well as horizontally, that when she's doing Wordle, she can keep it horizontally, and then she can make that as big as she wants, and then she can also touch the screen. So we don't have that where I'm looking from the screen, I'm looking onto a keyboard. So we're losing that transition. So she can just keep her vision focused right on the screen, and then, like I said, just pull things apart. You know what I'm saying, right? Make it as big as she wants, and then she can. You can buy her a stand where she can just put the iPad on a stand at eye level, and so it's not down by her on her lap. I'm really thinking that if we could get her an iPad, I think that would probably be. If you have one in the family, she could try it at least.
She has an old iPad now that she uses Kindle. She reads her Kindle books on, but it's old. It's probably 5 years old.
Is it? How big is it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't think it's almost 13 inches. Yeah, I don't think it's that big.
Why don't you see if you can get her one of those. I think that's really I think that would be really fabulous for her, because then she can make it as big as she wants, and she can have it as close to her eyes and her face as need be. And the other thing too is that we're not worried about her clicking in the wrong spot and getting malware or scams or anything like that. I think if it were my mother, I'd go right down that path and tell her, you know what, here's the keyboard. You can try that if you want, but I really think that this is going to be the best solution for you. And Teresa, let me know what Mom says. And if you want me to talk to Mom, hey, I'm more than happy to do that too. And thanks for getting our newsletters. I totally love that you are. So what do you think of the newsletters, Teresa?
I really like them. I just started getting them probably a month ago. I've been listening to you for 2 decades. When I married my husband, he was all into talk radio, and I'm like, talk radio? What are you talking about? And, you were on, and I loved, we're both tech people. We retired from technology at a local university, and so we love everything that you present and say and share with us, because we learn so much from you.
Oh, thank you, Teresa. Thank you. Because I'm interested in the newsletters, because this is like my pet project. Because it's my baby, and
so I'll tell you this, Kim. So today you sent the joke about something like a wave, whatever the joke was. Of course, I didn't get it. So my husband came in and I shared the joke with him, and he immediately said Wi-Fi or Bluetooth.
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, you're a genius. You're a genius. So he got the joke right away, and I would have been sitting here for the next 20 years trying to figure out the joke. Or the riddle.
Well, I'm sure that there are things that you do much better than he does, and that's why you guys have been married a long time. Teresa, thank you so much for your kind words. And if you're not getting the newsletter, once again, sign up over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. All right, let's talk about collections. We all have them, or we know somebody in our family who does. Talking about maybe your grandfather's old rifle, your grandmother's wedding dress. What about all those old family photos? They're just precious heirlooms that really, they just contain stories just worth preserving for future generations. But how do you do this? Okay, there are several ways to protect and document family treasures, but you really need the right app. Now, one option is to use Thingiology. I know, I didn't name it. It's kind of a funny name, huh? It's a digital inventory system that allows you to capture images of family heirlooms, like your grandfather's old pipe, along with a description, and then the story behind each item. That's just super neat. Now, for organizing and managing photographs, that's where you want to use Tropy. It's software developed by George Mason University. It's free to use, and it lets you add metadata, tags, and annotations to your images, making them just easily searchable and well organized. Again, the names of these apps, Thingiology and Tropy. All right, still to come, fake real estate listings are popping up like crazy online. I'm going to tell you how to stop the fakes, as well as we have more of your great phone calls you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, just a quick reminder, if you have not already, make sure that you enter to win over at winfromkim.com, because I'm going to be giving away a $1,000 iPhone. Oh my gosh, yes, that's winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. And speaking of winning stuff, I'll tell you, you are a real winner if you get my newsletter every single day. And by entering for the iPhone giveaway, you are going to be signed up, but you only have to try one issue. That's all. winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. All right, Jeffrey in Salem, Oregon. Hi there, Jeffrey.
I have a question, 2 questions that are related.
Okay.
I've had my identity stolen, and I've had some credit cards ripped off, and I've had one of my emails hacked and used for nefarious purposes. And I'd like to know, one, is there additional things that I can do to protect my information and my identity on the internet when I go on the computer? And number 2 is, do email addresses live forever, or can they be gotten rid of?
Well, let's talk about number 1. How are you going online, and what type of tools are you using now to protect your privacy? Because you sound like you're really privacy focused. So you probably are using a certain amount of tools at this point, I would guess.
Yes. Number 1 is, and I know you're going to hate to hear this, but I don't do any social media.
That's all right.
And ironically, my son works in social media advertising, so he's not happy about it either. Anyway, I use a VPN that is recommended by you. In fact, I use it because it was recommended by you.
Well, thank you. ExpressVPN.
Yes, that's correct. I use the Safari private page for searching. I block cookies. That's a Safari function. And my search engine is DuckDuckGo.
Okay. What kind of phone do you have?
I have a iPhone Pro.
Okay. And then are you using a MacBook with it or iMac?
I have an iPad and I have a Mac desktop.
So you're just an Apple guy.
Yeah, my desk pays homage to Stephen Jobs.
You know what? I have to tell you, mine is too, right? It is. And, and I have people over the years, they say, oh, you only talk about Apple computers because they advertise with you. I'm like, they have never advertised with me. I wish that they would. If you know somebody in Cupertino, send them my way. We have bills to pay too, but it's just, it's just easier. Once you get in that Apple ecosystem, it's hard to get out. Let me ask you a question. Generation Z coming up. What do you think the percentages of Gen Zers who use iPhones?
Oh, boy. I bet it's over 50%.
90%.
Wow.
I mean, 90%. Wouldn't you just love to have a product that 90% of Gen Zers would just, be crazy, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, it's just, and they look down on anybody who doesn't have an iPhone. So
I can understand that.
A couple of things you can do. Number one, you're using Safari, you're blocking cookies, you got a VPN, you're using DuckDuckGo versus Google, you're using private pages. I mean, all of this takes discipline. It does. Because it's a lot easier just to go willy-nilly and say, okay, well, they got my data. What else am I going to do about it, right? Mm-hmm. So, you mentioned that your son's in advertising. He probably also wouldn't like you to go into your settings and then go into privacy and advertising and then limit the ad tracking. Okay, so
I've actually already done that.
Okay, and then you can also manage your location services. Yeah. Use a password manager. Use, at your home Wi-Fi. Make sure you have your Wi-Fi locked down and then have a guest network for everything else. Mm-hmm. Instead of using iMessage, nobody's ever I don't know if you're going to want to do this, but you could use Signal and never go on public Wi-Fi. Always keep your iOS updated. And, but it's a lot of work. It is. In just trying to just manage everywhere that you go. Of course, you're going to get into your Google settings and your other account settings and maybe pull some of that data back. You can erase your profiles there. I've been talking a little bit about Consumer Reports has this app called Permission Slip. Wrote about it inside our free newsletters. Also had the one of the developers with it. And that's where you can say you just download this app and then it will remove your data from these various data broker sites, because that's a whole nother kimono, right? Because all your data is for sale and that's how they make money. And that's how come all these people's search sites pop up. But so you have to go to like the beginning of the pyramid, which is the data broker sites itself with names that nobody ever knows. And so that's where you can start removing some of your data. But you got a lot going on. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why are you doing all this?
Because I value my privacy, and also I do all of my financial stuff online.
Okay. We get that.
I'm paranoid, I guess.
Well, paranoid, it's that, bad things happen, right? And, and a lot of the scams that are coming in now are through social engineering. We have deep fake voice, deep fake videos, obviously, are going to be a big problem as we go into the elections. It seems to me as if we get one type of scam, then there's always another one and another one and another one, right? And so that's why it's always important that you just are super careful wherever you click, whatever you enter into some type of form on a website. You get a text message. It sounds like your grandchild or your child calling you, and they're telling you that they've been kidnapped and they need an Amazon gift card for $500 to give. There's just so many scams out there. It's hard to keep up. But you're doing a lot of good stuff, Jeffrey. I know you had a second question, but unfortunately we're running out of time about deleting your email address. We're going to go ahead and give you those steps via email. We'll send them off to you so you can go ahead and just remove your email address because, yes, you can do that. And then you can just say goodbye to that email address and never use it again. Jeffrey, thank you for your call. Boy, doesn't it seem like there's just another scam every time you turn around? Just a complete nightmare. If you have any older adults in your family, they are especially susceptible for getting these fake phone calls and emails and text messages. So you might want to pass along these scam alerts as we do here on the show and also within our newsletters because, again, they are the most vulnerable and they are just seems to be more easily taken than younger generations. So again, just want to keep them on the know. Just a quick reminder, if you want to get the Kim Komando Show as a commercial-free podcast, which I would love for you to do, really, head over to Apple Podcasts and search for Kim Komando Show. Also on Spotify, there's Kim Komando Show. And you can also get it as a perk of your membership over inside the Kim Komando community that you can sign up at Komando.com. And again, that's all commercial-free. And we also have a Monday through Friday podcast called Kim Komando Today, which is not the show. It's a whole completely different presentation, you'd say, and program. It's called Kim Komando Today. You can get that wherever you get your podcasts, as well as we actually do the video live Monday, Wednesday, Friday over at youtube.com/Kim Komando. All right, if you're on the hunt for a new place to call home, I want you to be super careful because fraudsters are rampant using real estate website listings to trick you into handing over your hard-earned cash. Now, the worst part, if they get you, you're left without your money and a home at the end of it. So here's how it happens. You find a house, it looks great online, but don't dive into it head first. I want you to give that ad a good hard look. See a price that's way lower than other houses in the area. Yeah, it's probably too good to be true. Now, what about the photos or lack of? If they're blurry or non-existent, something's really fishy. Already in touch with a real estate agent, see if they're trying to rush you through the process. They want any personal info or cash without all the usual steps. That's a no-go. You want to run. Don't walk away. All right, here's the deal. Make sure that you enter to win that iPhone at winfromkim.com. That's winfromkim.com.